Hi, I'm Magical. And really quickly, before I get into this video about The Princess Bride, I just want to tell you all to please go subscribe to Richie Dog. He is a YouTuber who makes awesome gaming videos, and I put Richie Dog's YouTube channel link in the description of this video. So click on the link in the description of this video and go subscribe to Richie Dog's channel. And subscribe to me too. Thank you. So, I heard on Twitter, in this tweet, and in a few other tweets, that apparently the chief executive of Sony Pictures Entertainment mentioned the idea of remaking The Princess Bride of all movies. I'm not sure if they're for sure going to remake The Princess Bride or if they're just thinking about remaking The Princess Bride. I'm also not sure if this executive at Sony was only mentioning the idea of remaking The Princess Bride, but maybe Sony and this executive actually have no plans at all of remaking The Princess Bride. I'm not really sure if there is any plan or actual thinking about actually remaking The Princess Bride going on. Maybe this chief executive was just joking or just mentioning the idea. So, maybe this chief executive actually has no plans at all to remake The Princess Bride. But still, whether or not they are actually going to remake The Princess Bride for sure, it is still a terrible idea to remake The Princess Bride. It's the worst idea ever. I just don't see why anyone would want to remake The Princess Bride, unless of course you just want more money. Obviously it's only about the money, but I mean, there's so many other movies that could use a remake, in my opinion. Like, there are tons of movies that aren't super great from the past, or where the special effects are out of date, and now that movie could use a really great remake. But The Princess Bride is such a great film already that, I mean, it would be like trying to remake The Untouchables, or trying to remake some movie that is like on that comedic level. It would be like trying to remake Dr. Strangelove, or Airplane, or Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It would be like trying to remake something like The Big Lebowski. Like, movies that are so iconic for the way that they were kind of like memeable before there was such a thing as memes. You know, those movies were so memeable before there were memes. So it's like having a perfect script. I mean, and the perfect comedic lines. And then you just can't, when something is so memeable like that, and so memorable for the lines of the movie, you know, you can't really remake it. Other movies are known for other things, like, you know, their action sequences or the overall story, but when a movie is actually known for its, like, memeable lines in the script, it's so iconic for the lines now that if you remake it, it's just gonna piss everyone off, because it's like, but I remember those lines and I don't want to say new lines. Like, that's the whole point of how memeable it is. Like, you're ruining my childhood and my memories and all this and that. That's what people will say. So, my opinion about people considering remaking The Princess Bride is, first of all, that it's a terrible idea, but also I don't really care. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't really get why there might be any outrage about it. I mean, I guess I just don't really understand the concept of your childhood being ruined by a movie. I mean, it's just a movie, just watch the original, you know, and forget about the remake if the remake bothers you. That's just how I feel. That's just my opinion. But I get at the same time why people would be kind of mad about it. Like, you're just remaking the movie to make money. And obviously, we all know that this remake is just not going to be a good movie. Like, you can't remake a movie that is so perfect and expect people to be happy about it. I mean, there's no way you can top something like The Princess Bride, basically, is what I'm saying. You just can't top something like that. It's very, very, very rare for a remake to top the original movie. But there are some examples. Like, for example, did you know that the 1982 version of The Thing is actually a remake of a movie from the 1950s about the same thing, obviously, called The Thing? I think it was from 1951. I haven't seen the original The Thing, and I don't really want to now because I've saw the 1980s version of The Thing, and it was so good I don't really want to see it again. But you know what? A movie like The Thing, I know they already remade The Thing again in like 2009 or something, but it was such a bad remake. But see, here's the thing. I do think movies like The Thing, even though The Thing was like perfect, the special effects are really outdated now. And if you could just get the right director, you know, and the right writer, I feel like it would be kind of nice to have a remake of The Thing, you know, like that's actually good. Like, just so I could have better special effects. Because when I watched the original The Thing, it was really scary, but I feel like it could have been a lot scarier if the special effects were better, you know? But that's just a pet peeve of mine. But, like, also, Titanic, you know? 1997 Titanic is apparently a remake, technically, of, you know, there was, like, actually, I think there were a few movies about the Titanic sinking. But, like, I mean, I know there was one made in the 1950s, and it was basically a very similar plot line, you know, the lives of the passengers on the boat and stuff like that. But I don't think there was, like, a central love story, and, I mean, obviously there was no Jack and Rose in the 1950s version. So, now, the 1997 version of Titanic definitely tops whatever previous versions of Titanic movies there were. So technically, I guess you could say Titanic is a remake. But it has a different story, and by adding the love story element, it made it a much better movie. So sometimes remakes can actually top originals. But, you know, there's another example. Suspiria recently got a remake. So, I really don't know how I feel about the new Suspiria, to be honest. I really don't even know how I feel about the original Suspiria. Sometimes. It's like such a weird movie. With the original Suspiria, I was actually really excited for Suspiria to be remade because I thought it would have been so much scarier if it had better special effects, kind of like how I feel about The Thing. Because when you watch the original Suspiria, what would have been terrifying in the 1970s now looks really not all that scary, like with the blood and gore stuff that happens. It just doesn't really scare you that much. But that movie still scared me in the tension and the build-up stuff and the story itself. And I really loved a lot of things about Suspiria. Like, I loved the way some of the shots were. I absolutely loved the set design. I wish there were more colorful horror movies. Unfortunately there aren't. Everyone just uses that stupid blue and gray, filter. I can't stand that. I think the best horror movies are the ones that are sunny, like we're on the beach. It's a beautiful sunny day. What could possibly go wrong? But, I don't know. Obviously, there's tons of horror movies that I love that use the blue filter thing. That I love anyway. But, I think what I'm saying is basically just that, I loved Suspiria. It was, such a fairy tale-y kind of horror movie. But then there were also aspects of it that were really goofy and silly. But I digged it. It was so weird. I actually really enjoyed it, and the music was amazing. It was really interesting. I just wish there were more movies like it nowadays. But still, the special effects make it not as scary as it could have been for me. And so I was really excited for a remake of Suspiria. And then the remake of Suspiria was just, I don't even know what I think about it, because I didn't really watch it that closely. To be honest, I was actually pretty bored for most of the movie. But then, see, when it got to the ending, because I hadn't really been watching it all that closely, I think I was probably, looking at something else on my phone while watching it, to be honest. So when it got to the ending was so crazy and really good, but also really weird, that I was like, wait, I should have watched this movie more closely because now I'm lost. And now I feel like I didn't really get the build-up. But, I don't know. Still, it bored me for most of the movie. So, I don't know. It's just, but the ending was crazy. But I don't even know if I liked the ending that much because it was so gross. It was one of the grossest endings I've ever seen in a horror movie. It's very rare for me to get grossed out during a horror movie. That happens to me really rarely. It happened to me when I watched the movie Raw, this French horror movie, about, well, I don't want to give away what it's about, but there were some scenes in there that really grossed me out. But with Suspiria, it also really, really, really grossed me out and weirded me out. So it was grossed out horror. And I haven't really experienced that before in such an extreme, intense way. So I don't know how I feel about being horrified by being grossed out. It's seeing it aesthetically, it's displeasing to you because it's so gross. But it's also terrifying. So I think I like it, but I also want to vomit. So what do? Does that mean I like it or not? I don't know. I mean, I definitely at least liked it a lot. But I don't know if I loved the movie. I also didn't understand the movie because I didn't really watch it carefully, and I didn't realize there would be so many things that you had to like really watch. I can't stand it when that happens though, when there's all these little things that you have to pay attention to with the details of the movie to really get the ending, but then so much at the beginning of the movie is so boring that it's just like, I want to be on my phone right now. You know? So it's like, then I get to the ending and I'm like, wait, what happened? I was too busy playing Roblox. So that's what I feel about, that's my opinion on remakes and this Princess Bride remake. I don't really care anymore, to be honest, if they want to remake the Princess Bride, because I mean, I know it's not going to be as good as the original, but also I can just rewatch the original if I want to. But also, I'm kind of intrigued and curious to see what they'll do with it. And I'm still gonna watch it, but like, not in the theater. Like, I'm probably not gonna pay to see that. So, I mean, would anybody even really pay to go see that? Like, it might not be the smartest business decision. Because I can get why you might want to remake something like Aladdin for live action. But like with the Princess Bride, I don't think anyone's really gonna pay to see it. Like, I mean, people will obviously pay to see it, but I think they're gonna probably, I think the movie will probably not get that many sales. Like, it might flop. Because no one's gonna want to go see a remake of The Princess Bride, especially if the reviews are bad. So I think it depends on the reviews. And usually reviews don't really matter much to audiences, I think. I don't think anyone actually looks at reviews before they go see movies anymore. They just kind of look at the trailer and make their own decision. I don't really read reviews before I go see movies anymore. Very often, I just kind of know I really want to see that, and so I go see it. And then I know that with reviews for comedy movies, they're usually wrong to me. Like, I'll think it's funny, and a lot of other people will, like regular people will think it's funny, and then the critics will be like, no, this was terrible. And the audience review will be like pretty high on a comedy movie, but the critic review will probably be pretty low. Like, you know, but like, it depends. I really do think that it kind of depends on the reviews with this one, because people will probably want to read the reviews for the remake of The Princess Bride and see, like, is this even worth it? People probably look at like the audience score more on Rotten Tomatoes and be like, okay, what is the audience saying? You know, not the critics. I don't care about them. What's the audience think? So I just think it's a bad business decision to remake The Princess Bride. I don't think anyone's really going to go see it. And it's not going to be a very good movie. But I'm still intrigued to watch it, because I do kind of want to see what they will do with it. Like, will there be a new story? I like that world. And I think it'd be interesting to have like a completely different story in that kind of world, you know? But like, I don't think they should try to bring back Wesley and, you know, Buttercup. I think that would be stupid. Like, we don't need to bring them back because the original story was so great. I mean, their original, like, love story was so great. I think if you brought it back and, like, we saw, like, where they are today, it'd be nice, it'd be sweet, but there wouldn't really be much of a story anymore. Unless you can somehow think of something. But, like, I mean, it's just silly. Why remake something so iconic? I mean, I guess they think they can do better, but I just don't think... It's very, very, very unlikely that you can top something like The Princess Bride. And usually, I think remakes that do top the original movie only top it because the special effects are just better than the original, because You know, the original was probably for like 1950 or something. So it works good with like horror movies. Well, not horror movies, but like action movie kind of remakes. Like with Titanic and The Thing. Even though The Thing is also a horror movie, I think, you know, having newer special effects was nice. I'm talking about the 1982 remake of The Thing, not the 2009 one, by the way. But like, you get what I'm saying. That's what I think. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that this is a terrible idea to remake The Princess Bride? And what do you think the story would be for the remake of The Princess Bride? I can't think of any ideas for what they could possibly make another story with without bringing back the original characters. So yeah, please subscribe to me, and I love you guys. Bye.